What's up, gays, straights, and other days? It's Mally. I'm back with another episode of Lady in Mystery. And last we left off, we finished episode 9, and basically Yuri said, well, you're not going to report me, so you can't break that promise, and then pulled me into her bedroom. I don't think anything happened with us, but, I guess we're in her room now. It was raining, quite early for monsoon season. The lamplight was swaying sometimes by the wind breezing through the window, and the humid air made everything in the room heavier. I was closing my eyes, hiding in the blanket that hasn't been used yet. I got little goosebumps on my warm skin, and I could still taste the sweet and spicy lip gloss on my lips. Oh. We did sleep together. Alright then. As Leader Kong, who was lying right next to me, turned, one corner of the blanket went down. The blanket was barely hanging near my chin. Aww. I looked at Leader Kong. Oh, look at the way she's looking at us. Oh, my heart. Her sweaty shoulder glowed as if it was glazed. I was not expecting this at all. What the heck? Her eyes, mouth, and even a strain of her hair looked a little different than yesterday. I mean, I kind of thought that it was implied that maybe that might have happened because she did pull me into the room with her, but I didn't expect it to actually happen. Yurin. Oh, look at us. We're so cute. What do you think about going to Qing with me for a couple of years, my lady? Oh, we're so cute. To Qing? You're going to love Beijing. Oh, is this her way of... Aw. I mean, yes, we're definitely still moving really fast, but I don't really mind. There are so many things in Qing other than the little globe I brought you. Leader Kong reached her hand and stroked my forehead. Oh, I'm gonna melt. She carefully ran through my hairs wet with sweat and got closer to me. Oriental melon stalls, carriages drawn by 4 black horses that make the tinkling sound of bells, water wheels that provide water to the field, pumps that put out the fire, windows with patterns and embroidered doors, and big bridges that look just like a rainbow. That sounds really nice. I mean, we still have to talk, but, alright. We can walk around looking at those things all day. I won't let you walk or work at all unless you want to. Leader Kong's face was blushed a little, and her voice was softer than usual, which made me want to tear up for no reason. So, I guess... Okay, I feel like I missed something here, but I think that moment where Hisu went, I need you, I think that was her realizing that she really does love Leader Kong, and that's why she was able to fall into bed so easily with her. And now everything seems to be okay? Alright. For the last 5 years, I've never met anyone who's talking this sweet to me. We can study mathematics you like and learn some machines or skills that don't exist in Chosun. I bet even 10 years won't be enough for us, let alone a year. But, Leader Kong, don't you have things to do in Hanyang? Butler Zheng said. As I was saying it, I thought I made a mistake, so I stopped. Because I thought of the face Leader Kong made when she was mad at Butler Zheng. I won't scold Butler Zheng, so please, tell me. What did you hear from him? He said the songbong was in danger. That Hanyang songbong is always in danger and having a hard time maintaining the balance. No way. He must have lied to you to scare you. Leader Kong smiled sweetly and shook her head. You know what I made the metal store of the 6th store in Hanyang close, right? As soon as I closed that store, most of the things were sorted out. The government is going to lift the ban on unauthorized merchants doing business in Hanyang by next year. They made the law for us, Songdu merchants, can do business freely in Hanyang. And there's going to be nothing left to worry about, and I'll be in a position where no one in Chosun can compete. This sounds so good to be true, and honestly, like, this totally implies that we've spent the night cuddling, and that's just so cute. Aww. I was closing my eyes listening to all this. Leader Kong's hand was around my ears and then kept moving around my neck and my shoulders. But then it ended up running through my hair. This is so romantic and I love it. The hair that I've never braided except for when I was little got loose and fell down before my neck. Then I won't have to make anyone die in any way forever. And I won't have to be cruel to anyone. That sounds amazing. So I can let rest the complicated things in other people's hands and spend a couple of years with you alone. Leader Kong stopped moving her hand as if she was saying the last sentence. Leader Kong's ice-cold hands were completely warm now. Yeah, because she couldn't keep them off of me. This is so romantic. This is completely melting my heart, but I'm worried it's gonna get ripped away from us. Like, oh my god, Leader Kong. Wait, why? Wait, what's happening now? Episode 10, I know gods, I fired them. Oh. Okay. Well, that was a really sweet interlude. Oh my god, we've been snuggling up to— Aww. Wait, why did I come back? Oh, well, I probably need to wrap things up there. It was almost noon when I came back to the tavern. I've heard this theme before! Oh my god, but now it's a different instrumentation? This game. Oh, this is so romantic. Oh my god. I was worried that my feelings for her might change once I did her route, but I'm just falling more and more in love with her with every passing day. Leader Kong, you're so romantic. Because of the rain last night, the yard was still half wet, and the low wooden bench was also wet, so no one was outside. I quietly opened the bush gate when no one was watching. Wusung, who was sitting on the wooden floor, got up with a surprised face and looked at me. I felt guilty for him. Why are you coming now? Oh, yeah, I need to say goodbye. When I saw Wusung's face, a mountain road that we climbed when we came to Hanyang came across my mind. If you put your name here and disguise yourself as a guy, then you won't have to be chased everywhere you go, my lady. I still remember Wusung's back, holding my shoulders over and over, shaking and forging an identity tag by carving the wood with hands that kept shaking. He kept sniffling with either tears or snot, carving with a chipped knife, cutting himself on the hands. My lady, I mean, brother. It's awkward, but we'll get used to it. Yes, you're my brother now. Wusung was flustered, saying a lot of things. Wusung was uncomfortable with me at first. He was so blunt and abrupt that I couldn't even imagine that he would ever be able to talk to me friendly like this. But after 5 years, he's been acting like a big brother I couldn't have anymore and something like a mother or father. He still never forgot his duty as a loyal assistant, though. I gave a little sigh. Wusung, come here. Huh? Hurry. Get in the room first. I have something to say. Wusung just blinked his eyes, taking off his shoes like a cow pushed in the corner. He looked a little surprised and distracted. I sat down on the wooden floor and slowly took off my shoes. Then I was looking at the ankle bands that Leader Kong tied for me and then followed him into the room. When I closed the door, inside the room was a little dark as usual. Wusung? I'm listening. I want to go to Qing. Aww. Cute. After Wusung stomped out of the room saying he needed to take some air, I was left alone in the room. A lot of things came across my mind and disappeared. When I first left my hometown in Busapli and wandered around, it was so hard. While running away, a lot of people were endlessly snitching on me. I'll give a safe place to stay for you if you pay for me. A lot of similar offers. Some scoundrels were even trying to get into my room sometimes. No one ever gave a safe place for us with a good heart. We managed to arrive at my cousin's house after enduring a lot of hardships. But then when we arrived there were already policemen waiting for us. While we were running away again, Wusung and I lost our nails and our feet were covered in blood. We wouldn't even know if we could survive each day, every day. Even after stealing Yongban's clothes, carving a new identity tag, and disguising myself as a guy, the hardships never stopped. We were suffering from poverty. My father was an accountant who worked with the local government officials who make decisions about tax and tributes. My house was always wealthy, and I've never been hungry. I couldn't get used to this poor life easily. My lady, I'll protect you. Wusung at least got some herbs with the bark of the tree, and he even stole things to take care of me. Wusung and I walked the mountain road endlessly like there was only one goal in mind, which is to get to Hanyang. They say the traitors were sent to Hanyang's Supreme Court, so we were going to complain of injustice at Hanyang and save my family. But nothing we hoped for ever came true. Wusung and I tried so hard to get the village just to see 3 heads hanging on the poles that were beheaded a long time ago already. My family already lost their bodies, and Wusung had been throwing up for over 3 days. That day, we promised to get revenge. It doesn't matter how cruel it would be. We were going to get revenge in any way. For that, we were so willing to give up our lives. We could search every single house in Hanyang, and we could do this for seasons after seasons and years after years. We were going to search over and over again to find out who did this and catch them someday. Then 5 years have passed. I wasn't young anymore, I wasn't miserable every day as before, but I couldn't be completely happy either. It doesn't matter. Even though you are not a divine Yongbon, but just a daughter of some accountant. Even though you're a descendant of a family that was destroyed because of treason, and you're not guaranteed to live, and your status went down as low as a Nobi. Oh, that's Leader Kong talking. I still maintain that the moment Hisu said, "I need you" to Leader Kong is the moment that she realized that she fell in love with her. Oh my god, my heart, that's so beautiful. I'll give you everything. I'll be your fence and protect you. I can do anything for you if you can just promise me that you'll be on my side. This is so, I'm so in love. In the meantime, only Leader Kong told me something different. I am tired of living in constant nightmares. I think I would really regret it if I lose Leader Kong now. All I could do now is just live the same life for about 10 more years and get old. I would be buried in my miserable old memories and get smothered on some nights and scream on other nights. I would keep living like that. Just like all the past days, and now. And even without all those reasons, I just wanted to follow Leader Kong. I just like to be with her. Oh, my heart. This is my favorite route. I don't care. Like, whatever comes after, this is my favorite route. This is just so unapologetically romantic. Oh. I like the smell of her clothes and her skin. Oh, Hisu. I like the feeling when she hugged or touched me. When Leader Kong called me by my real name that no one ever calls anymore, I felt sad and happy at the same time. I've never liked any other woman so much like her before. After a while, I could hear it spreading again outside. A way to kill the fucking mood, but that's so romantic. Oh, my heart. My heart, my heart. Oh, I love her. I slowly opened the door. What I heard wasn't the sound of rain. It was the rustling sound of the leaves from a willow tree by the wind. It sounded just like the rain. And I caught eyes with Leader Kong, who was walking right under the tree. Leader Kong? When I got surprised and ran towards her, Leader Kong flinched eyebrows as if she got disappointed. What? Wait, what's wrong? I was going to visit you secretly, but then you opened the door. Oh. I don't really see a reason to keep us a secret, but thank you. I wasn't sure if I'm glad or not that Wusung and Juhi weren't around. I put my finger on the back of my shoes that had folded inside since I rushed out. Then I felt something cold on my neck, so I got surprised and got up. When I got up, Leader Kong put some stones that were under the cold water on my hand. The days were getting warmer. The stones were really cold. Leader Kong seemed to walk here all the way even though she has a palanquin. I could see her servants carrying an empty palanquin behind her back. I don't think it's a good idea for you to go back to the tavern. I've been thinking while walking here. I think it's better for me to take care of everything. Whatever you say. As she said that, I looked around. There were not many people around, but every time someone passed by, they all took a glance at Leader Kong. It was a natural reaction since she was wearing such luxurious clothes in this marketplace. Leader Kong too kept pausing every time someone walks by. When no one was passing by again, Leader Kong gave a little sigh and then grabbed my wrist. Oh. Hi there. Okay. Leader Kong pushed me into a palanquin and followed me in. Okay. Oh. Leader Kong's palanquin was big, but it wasn't big enough for 2 people. Oh no, I guess I'll have to sit on your lap maybe. What if the palanquin bearers get mad? What are you talking about? My bearers are the strongest men in Chosun, and this palanquin is the most convenient palanquin to carry. I think you just want me on your lap, and I'm happy to oblige. How can they ever be mad at me? How can anyone be mad at you? Oh, this is so romantic. She's just sweeping me off my feet. Leader Kong looked at my surprised face and laughed a lot for a while. I was just holding the window inside the wobbly palanquin, not knowing what to do. When the palanquin started to move, I was a bit overwhelmed. The palanquin looked really slow like an earthworm from the outside, but when I'm actually inside, it was so fast as if it was running. I've never been on a palanquin before. I love this theme so much. It's such like a romantic waltz. Can she dance with me, please? Also, your servants might think that you just took the guy into a palanquin with you and... Let them think whatever they want. Yes, ma'am. Leader Kong answered with a tone that sounded like she was enjoying it. She definitely is. And I realized that Leader Kong was making fun of me. The palanquin had the same scent as Leader Kong's blanket. Since the brim of my gat kept bumping all over the palanquin, I had to take it off and carry it in my arms. Where are we going now, by the way? We're going to Songdan now. Not yet. I haven't finished talking with Wusung. Then let's measure your size in Songdan first and then go back to the tavern. Wait, what are you measuring my size for? Size? I'm going to make new clothes for you to wear, my lady. Oh. Wow. You really know how to spoil a girl. 2 CGs and 1 EP? You spoil me. She paused when she said my lady and then put her face closer to me. I really wanted to call you my lady again. I really wanted to hear you call me that. That's why I took you to my palanquin. Please forgive me. You've done nothing wrong. Aww. Am I cupping her face? Oh, so cute. Her softly arched eyes, pink skin at the end of her eyes, and light-colored eyelashes were swaying along with the palanquin right in front of me. Oh, can I please kiss her right now? Can I please just shut her up and make her less worried? Oh, Leader Kong. I was watching it for a while and unconsciously reached my hand and touched the tip of Leader Kong's eyes. And then I flinched and took my hand off. Oh, we're still a little shy. Really? Even after she probably topped me? I was going to apologize, but then I didn't know what to apologize, so I just held my breath. Then Leader Kong carefully kissed me between my cheek and my lips, and at the same time the palanquin bear stopped the palanquin. Oh. Well, thank you. Or it's Songbong. Do you want us to go in, or are you two still fucking in there? Sure, let's get inside the gate. Okay. Okay, my heart, this is the most romantic our route has ever been, because I feel like with the other ones, it's like, Sayoung, we got romantic towards the very end. Juhi, we did get romantic, but we didn't really revisit it much until later, but this, Leader Kong just can't stop touching me and kissing me and cuddling, and she even, like, basically made love to me, so... I am so happy right now. Leader Kong brought me to her room. Like the last time, inside the room was still so desolate. Well, maybe I can change it, because I'm here to warm up the bed now. But she added another lamp there, and there were a few more combs on the vanity. And unfolded blankets were waiting for me. Leader Kong pushed the blanket away and let me sit on the bed. My tailors are going to be flustered if I make them measure a guy and tell them to make a skirt. I told them I would bring a girl, so you should change into women's clothes. Okay. You wanna, maybe help me undress a little? I put down the gat I was holding the whole time. Leader Kong reached her fingers as if she was waiting for it and untied my hairnet. While she was pulling out a little metal pin on my top knot and untying the string from my headband, my ears were tickled. When Leader Kong untied the last string that was holding my top knot, the hairnet fell down on my leg. My hair got loose and covered my eyes. Leader Kong sat behind me and started to comb my hair. Oh, that's so nice. Her cold and long fingers and a wooden comb touched my hair, and I felt tingling a little on my neck for no reason. Soon my hair got divided into 3 and got braided neatly. For a while, only the rustling sounds of clothes bumping each other and touching my skin filled the air. When Leader Kong grabbed my shoulders, I was completely changed. I looked at the mirror on my leg and I held my breath quietly. I don't know. I feel like someone's going to recognize me. What if someone happened to see my wanted poster a few years ago? What if they tell the police that I'm in Songbong? It's already 5 years ago. You've changed a lot ever since. But what if you get into trouble because of me? I got scared all of a sudden. I didn't know if this life would really fit me. I felt like even though I'm really happy now, it's going to be all taken away somehow, and I kept getting worried what I should do if something happens to Leader Kong because of me. I could only feel my hands grip tight when Leader Kong smiled softly and grabbed my hand. Before then, I was shaking my hands unconsciously. Are you worried about me? Then why don't we compete whose fortune is stronger? I'm confident that I will win. Oh? Leader Kong bent her knees and caught my eyes while I was sitting on the bed. I hugged Leader Kong suddenly. Leader Kong seemed flustered for a moment and she couldn't even breathe. What? Has no one cuddled into you before? But then she put her hands on my back and slowly started to breathe with her chest. Aw. I let her go after a while. Leader Kong smiled warmly with a little frown on her eyes and I kept feeling guilty. Then let's do this. I'm going to put your hair up. Then it's going to be hard for anyone to recognize you. Also, I'll drop the screen and turn off all the lights in the room while measuring. No one will be able to see your face clearly. Let's do this. No one can hurt me, and I'll protect you. Oh, I'm so in love. Leader Kong untied the ribbon and tied my hair up. Okay, I guess I'm getting measured now. I came back to the tavern pretty soon. Wait, why? It was because she really sent me home after measuring my size as promised. Oh, I guess she's letting me say goodbye. Okay. But the tavern was empty, unlike usual. I was so tired since I haven't slept much last night, and I kept falling asleep waiting for Wusung or Juhi. Yeah, where's Juhi been, actually? I woke up after sleeping for the whole day. I thought I fell asleep when the sun was still up, but it was still so bright when I woke up, so I had no idea how long I slept. But I realized I slept for half of the day by looking at the shape of the shadow of the room. But I was still alone in the room. Aw, Leader Kong didn't come in to snuggle me? Aw. I was lying down blankly, worried about when Juhi came out again and if Wusung ever came home, and then suddenly the door opened. And then I heard Wusung's breath. I was surprised and sprung up. Wusung? Wusung was holding some strange silk pocket. Wusung was looking at me quietly and turned around. I saw Shim Juhi outside. She said she was going to wash the place with Makwa, but she seemed to be coming home alone. And she ran into Leader Kong and was talking to her. Oh. You must have found out then. Leader Kong? Leader Kong came again? Well, of course, you didn't come back for a while. While I was surprised, Wusung smirked. Then I fully woke up. At the same time, I realized that Wusung was a little different from usual. It must have been because I told him I would go to Qing, but everything was much worse than I thought. That woman was quite ridiculous. She was telling some kind of nonsense that since you were going to Qing with her, she's going to treat Lady Juhi as Songdon's guest. And then Shim Juhi didn't even get mad and just kept listening to her. Oh, you think it's a joke? Oh, fuck. Wusung... It's funny, right? I was there and yelled at her why she's listening to that nonsense, and then she got surprised. She didn't understand why I got mad, saying, isn't it a real nice opportunity to have for a young man to go abroad? She's such a northern village lady. Well, I don't know any of that since I'm just a riffraff. Wusung. Wusung, it's not a joke. I'm in love with her. Wusung was so loud and getting angry, so I held my breath and moved near the door. Someone might hear you. And Juhi even comforted me. She said she understands that I was angry since my brother left me alone and went abroad without me. How stupid. It's not like that at all. It is like that. Wusung was trying to talk normal as usual, but his face was so gloomy, he was just pouring out words without being aware of what he was saying. And Leader Kong said she would arrange a marriage with me with a plebeian so I can live comfortably. Does she really think this can comfort me? Wusung threw the silk pocket on the floor. A few silver coins and jewelry were rolling on the floor. Wusung finally shed big drops of tears. Is she trying to compensate my life with money? No, I think she knows you're important to me and is trying to make sure you're taken care of. With this? My lady, please tell me. Is this what I get for being loyal to you? Money? Do you think I've been serving you to get some money? Do you think I offered you to get revenge with me just for money? Wusung, stop. Ugh. I'm sorry, Wusung. I think I was wrong. I'll tell her I'm not going to Qing right now. Wait, what? And I'll make sure to take you wherever I go. Okay, no, this is not healthy for either of you. I was surprised and started picking things up off the floor and put them back in the pocket. But Wusung was just standing there without moving an inch and then scoffed a little. When I thought I heard it wrong and looked up with a flustered face, Wusung was packing all the stuff and clothes in the room in a bundle. What are you doing? My lady, listen carefully. You can't go to Qing or wherever anymore. What? Wusung stopped packing for a second. Because I reported us to the Supreme Court. What the? Wusung! Supreme Court, a special judicial authority of Chosun. It's a direct institution from the king. It punished some serious crimes such as uprising, a plot of treason, or foreign crime. It's similar to Supreme Court nowadays and acted as an investigation office as well. Okay, is losing me that bad that you'd rather we rot in prison together? What is wrong with you? What? I reported us. I told them that the daughter of the trader accountant Lee Sol-young and our lowly servant Wusung is living together in this tavern. Soldiers will barge in soon, so I came here to save your life. Fuck you! You'll need me to run away again. No! How fucking dare you? I hate you. How could you? If I think about it now, there was no loyalty in the first place. I don't know what I've been caring about it so much so far. You possessive bastard. He's not going to want to see me when I die anyway. Wusung distorted his face, wiping the tears off of his face. You're insane. I killed Mr. Accountant. What? What? No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. Okay, no. I don't believe that for a fucking second, okay? No. You know what? No, you did this to yourself. I'm leaving. Like, honestly, no. And we're in Wusung's point of view. Okay. If you're gonna try to make me feel bad for him, it's not gonna happen. That day was such a weird day, because nothing made sense at all. My brother looked different somehow when he came back home. He looked tired and sad at the same time. I haven't seen him like that in 5 years, and it was so unfamiliar, so I couldn't get mad at him. I was so ready to get mad at him when he came back until I saw them. Where has he been? What happened to the promise he made that he was going to come home before the curfew? Did something happen to him? I was worried about him so much and upset at the same time, but I managed to keep it to myself and just asked, "Why are you coming now?" Shim Juhi happened to be somewhere else and the tavern was quieter than usual, or at least I felt like it. My brother's top knot was much neater than usual when he came back, and his clothes looked tidier than when he left the house. He started telling me things when I got into the room. It was so sudden that I kept asking what he was talking about. "What?" I said I want to go to Qing. Qing? What is he talking about? Seriously. What about revenge? What about the revenge we've been preparing then? Do you even hear yourself? Just like that? We've been trying for 5 years. No one can say that you haven't tried. It doesn't make sense. How can you give up so easily like that? How are you going to see Mr. Accountant in the afterlife? Suddenly my voice started to crack, so I bit my lips. I couldn't look up and just listen to the voice of my lady. "I haven't told you, but I'm really exhausted, to be honest. Maybe it was foolish of us to hang on to this revenge thing the whole time. Do you really like our lives in Hanyang? Surviving through day by day not knowing what's going on?" For a second, my heart died within me. I liked it. Sadly enough, I liked it just to be with my lady. That doesn't justify what you did. I don't. It's been so hard for me. I want to be happy now. But why Qing all of a sudden? Then I suddenly realized that it must have been Leader Kong who told my lady that she would take her to Qing. I was happy when she said she was going abroad soon. I wished to stop hanging around my lady and go further away already. But I shouldn't have been happy about it if I knew that she would suggest this horrible offer to my lady. The only reason you think it's horrible is because you have some possessive issues. I didn't know what to say looking at my lady. I'm sure Qing would be a nice place to live. I would be happy for her to live in Qing than in Chosen since she has too much knowledge for a woman. They say they don't just have some alarm globs or old books there. They say it was the hub of all sorts of technology. You should live your own life now. I've never even imagined it once, but it was the worst thing I could ever imagine, because I had no proper reason to stop her or even follow her. I can't follow her? I have to be alone? Forever? Okay, no one's saying you can't visit. I had nothing in my life, until I met Mr. Accountant and my lady, and now I have to go back to having nothing again. At that moment I fell down to hell. My lady shook off my hand right away. "Get your hands off! I'm not going anywhere. What are you talking about? What do you mean that you killed my father?" A few days ago, before the house set fire, Mr. Accountant asked me to deliver some important letters to the government of Jinju government office. It was right after that guest with a weird scar visited. Mr. Accountant was anxious all the time and there was nothing I could do. But then he called me and sent me on an errand. I think I was just so happy not knowing what it was. I'm going to do my best. I'll do so well and get compliments. I was even excited when he gave me the letter I was supposed to deliver. I'm running an important errand for him. He kept emphasizing that it was really, really important. I said I got it, nodded, and then went down on the road. But then I lost that letter to our enemy, the one person that shouldn't have the letter the most. I still remembered everything the man with the scar said and did to me. His voice when he was giving me some money and telling me to leave the house, his scary laugh after threatening me that he was going to kill me if I tell anyone that I lost the letter, and his back turned away after dangling the letter at me. I didn't know exactly what happened, but I knew that I made a big mistake. I should have delivered the letter to the Jinju government office, but instead the man with the scar took the letter. Way back home, crying felt so far. It was late at night, but Mr. Accountant was waiting for me, not even turning the light off. But I just told him that I delivered the letter and lied that nothing happened. And I looked up at my lady, who resembles Mr. Accountant, couldn't even blink and was looking at me. My father asked you to deliver the letter to the government office? You never told me that. You never told me that happened. Of course. If I tell you, then I also have to tell you that I lost the letter. How could I tell you that? Why? Why didn't you tell me? No, actually, I don't care that you didn't tell me, but you should have told my father. Why didn't you? I got speechless when my lady asked urgently. It would have been better the reason I didn't tell him is that I just got scared of his threat or I got blinded by money. But I respected Master too much and I loved him too much. I didn't know the things I should have known. I was too afraid to get blamed. What? I know it's lame. I couldn't bear the idea of him blaming me. There was no one kinder to me than Mr. Accountant. The night I lost my letter to the guy, Mr. Accountant didn't know anything and just dusted off my pants. He trusted me and he cared for me. So I couldn't pluck up the courage to tell him the truth. I couldn't tell him that I lost the letter and couldn't do the errand he asked me to do after he emphasized how important the letter was over and over. I was worried that if I told him the truth, then he wouldn't treat me as sweet as before ever again. There was nothing scarier than that for me at the time. I was stupid and nothing, even people dying or getting hurt or something went really wrong. Nothing was scarier than losing Mr. Accountant's favor to me. Then my lady shook her head, stepping back. I can't believe this. I knew it when the treason accusation happened. I knew who framed him, and I knew that nothing would have happened if it wasn't for me. I knew that I made him die. Stop it. I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't know what nonsense you're telling me now. My lady, who figures out much faster than other people whenever she sees or hears something, said she can't understand this simple fact. She shook her head and turned around. That guilt made me obsessed with you. Okay, this is getting really creepy and really gross. I felt so bad thinking that I made Mr. Accountant die, and I felt so guilty. That's why I tried so hard to save you. Yeah, you did, and now you need to let me go. I'm not really a good guy, you think, yet that's obvious. Now my lady wasn't listening to me at all, so I even said something I didn't even have to say out of spite. I was scared that the enemy might recognize my face when we go find him for revenge. I was worried that he would say something like, "Oh, you are that guy from that day. I even gave you money for that letter. It's not like you didn't get the money. What are you talking about now?" What? Money? Did you get the money from him? Or do you think I got money to buy Yongbon's genealogy? You know, the genealogy we put our names on. I bought it with the money I got from him when I lost Mr. Accountant's important letter. I bit my lips for a while and looked up. When I caught her eyes, my lady's eyes were filled with fear, and I realized that I couldn't turn back now. How could you? Then you knew that important information for 5 years and haven't told me anything about it while encouraging me to plan for revenge with you. And all this time you knew it alone? How? You're crazy. You're insane. I didn't even think about it, and I thought of you as my family like an idiot. I really thought you were my family. Then I could hear the hooves of the horses from a distance. If the soldiers from the Supreme Court barged in, then I really wouldn't have a choice. I carried the bundle from under my arm and dragged my lady out and carried her on my shoulder. Wait, let me go! I saw Makwa surprised and talking something to me when I got out, but I couldn't hear what she was talking about. Wait, no! I started to climb up the mountain like I used to do every day before. Let me go! Put me down now, you bastard! My lady kept crying and struggling on my shoulder. I regret meeting you. Then the top of her foot kicked my chin. I regret running away with you and spending time with you the whole time. I regret everything. Suddenly my throat started to feel cramped and I could feel my legs getting weaker. But I forced myself to climb up the road, grabbing a twig. The sound of my lady sobbing on my back got louder and louder. My father would have regretted as well. There's no one who can be happy with you in this world. No one. Anyone would die regretting meeting you. They'll all regret it. Regret it. And something struck my right shoulder with a thud. It was an arrow. The shoulder from the Supreme Court already spotted us and were climbing up the ridge. Fuck, I don't know which one is worse. What the hell? Wusung, come on! I should have known. I should have known. Things were going too cute and too sweet and too romantic with Yuri and I for it to be true. Thanks a lot, Wusung. It was an overcast day. Clouds were moving faster as if it was floating since noon. Before long, dark clouds covered the whole sky. It was sunny when Yuri came near the tavern, and shortly after there was a loud noise from the tavern as if something was broken. The ground had been shaking quite subtly for a while now. The sound of horses' hooves from a distance, the sound of arrows rattling against each other in the bamboo quiver, and this vague chemical step and footsteps. Every single thing indicated something ominous. Is she going to save me? And Yuri knew what all those familiar sounds mean. Sounds she heard 5 years ago. Yuri grabbed Juhi's arm, who was about to run to the tavern. Why are you stopping me? You should get into my palanquin and go hide in my songdon right now. Huh? But there's a loud noise coming from the tavern. The soldiers are coming. Juhi looked up as if she didn't know what she just heard. Are you going to meet the soldiers from the Supreme Court when you ran away from your house in Northern Village? You should hide right now. Yuri put Juhi in her bearer's hands and hurriedly headed towards the tavern, grabbing her skirt. I think you're too late, Yuri. The girl from the tavern was stamping her feet with a deathly pale face, and the door of the room where Hisu was supposed to be in was fallen off. Yuri was looking around the yard, biting her lips, and got out of the tavern for now. She started to go back to her songdon with her bodyguards. She couldn't risk getting suspected of just being around here. Why now, of all times? How many people can we mobilize secretly right now as soon as we get to Songdon? About 20 people, ma'am. We need at least 40, no, 60. What if we gather all the big guys and close a couple of stores? If we do such a thing, then Hanyang merchants would think of it as really weird. No, that's not the answer I wanted. Yurden's chest started to get cramped and she felt like her blood was boiling. Send the fastest kid and make all the big guys in Songdong gather. And send another kid to the Supreme Court and find out exactly who reported them and what happened. If she gets people ready right now and starts searching, she only needs an hour, tops. She might be able to search through Hanyang faster than the soldiers. No, she had to make it happen. Please come save me. I can't do anything right now. But then when she almost arrived at Songdong, Yurin had to stop. The front road of Songbong was so empty and it looked like no one was there. But then some boys sitting on a flat rock on the corner started shouting as soon as they saw Yurin. It's the Songbong leader. She's here. It's the real Songbong leader this time. Then people poured out from across the street in the bushes. They ran out holding torches, sickles, rakes, and bats. It was Hanyang merchants who had to go back the other day blocked by the wall. There were roughly about 100 of them. No! The errand boys led the way, and this time even the owners of the store and the members of 6th store of Hanyang came. Suddenly Yurin felt dizzy. Why now of all times? That freaking bitch! Someone started to cuss out in the second Songbong Gate area got so loud like the front yard of the stalls. That ghost is trying to eradicate all the Hanyang merchants. Let's drive out all the Songdun and Uizhu people all together this time. Hanyang is declining when the hen crows louder than the cock. She wouldn't get mad at any of those things usually, but Yurin suddenly felt dizzy as if all the blood was drained out of her body, and she couldn't see anything well. Terribly enough, the time was still ticking. Move! No one heard her voice. It was still louder than the marketplace. Move! I said move! I told you to move right now! As Yurin cried out, then the merchants got surprised and paused for a moment. It didn't last long, though. A few big guys laughed and started swinging bats. I guess you don't really understand the situation here. Don't you know what situation you're in now? Even though they were threatening her, no one could look at her straight in the eyes. What are they doing carrying some weapons like a bunch of idiots? Why don't they just stab the person they don't like since they brought all their weapons all the way here? They don't have the courage. They don't even know what they want to give and take out, or what business they want to do. Yurin held contempt and frowned. After a while, the door of Songbong opened after a long while and Butler Zhang ran out. You lowly ranks, get to it in the back. For those of you who are at least the owner or leader, please come into Songbong. You'll be able to hear from Leader Kong directly. Who gave him permission to say that? What is he to say on behalf of her? Her heart sank down, but people backed down for a bit, so Yurin didn't scold Butler Zhang right away. Instead, she started running to her room, not even looking back once. She searched the room and opened the directory first, wiping her own face off. How many people should she secure? It's not just post-junks in the Ministry of Justice, but the Supreme Court. Quality and the quantity of the army is a whole different level there. Can she gather people without the Supreme Court noticing it? Once the situation is sorted out, she wouldn't even be able to interrupt. Then one servant knocked on the door. It was the guy she sent to the Supreme Court a while ago. Did you go find out what happened? Yes, some guy reported the whereabouts of runaway criminals from a trader's family. What? Some guy reported it? They said that a really tall Yongbang guy with a shabby gat came and wrote the letter of the report with poor Korean. He didn't even tell the details and just reported and went back. The report was about a treason case that happened 5 years ago. As soon as she realized who did what, she felt enervated. She couldn't even listen to what the errand boy was saying anymore. When she was about to get out of the room, Butler Zhang came to her room this time and bowed. Yurin was really distracted by all these people stopping her. Leader Kong, you need to meet people from the 6 Stores Association right now. I don't think we should make them wait longer. They said the owner of the metal store killed himself after his store got closed. You should hear their conditions and send them back. Just give them whatever they want and send them back. You're the one who made a promise. When she was going to walk past them, Butler Zhang grabbed Yurin again. But even their leader came. I think it's a bit inappropriate that I greet them. Then send someone else. Silk store owner, fabric store owner, seafood store owner, paper store owner. What are we going to use them for? We have plenty of owners, so just send one of them. But Butler Zhang kept talking to her who already turned her back. My lady, you can't let Mr. Chairman down. She felt like her heart was torn as he mentioned her father. But Yurin couldn't listen to Butler Zhang anymore. Please let me go now. I'm begging you. The sun was already down now. When I first heard the tavern gate broken, the sun was still up in the sky. It's been an hour and a half since then. And back here? Ugh. I woke up after going over one mountain. When I woke up, my stomach hurt so much with the pain I've never felt before in my life, and my eyes hurt. Instinctively, I knew I shouldn't change my posture here. I was even too afraid to breathe, and I didn't know what to do with my tongue. Then I saw Wusung on the other side. Wusung was sitting there lowering his head. He couldn't lean his back on something since he had knives and arrived on his back. So he was just crouching his big body until his head almost touched the ground. Then when I moved my hand, he looked up right away. Are you okay, my lady? No thanks to you. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I made you hurt. I was so stupid. I didn't think through enough. No, you got obsessive and possessive and now we're both screwed. Thanks. Wusung kept apologizing, crying. Then he couldn't get closer and just kept crying. When I looked at it closely, there was no part of my body that's left unscathed. My knees were soaked in blood, my arms were swollen, which seemed to be broken. But I couldn't remember anything about what happened after I got seriously injured on my stomach. Wusung must have fought people alone, gone over the mountain, shot by arrows and knives but kept running, and then ended up stopping here after his legs were injured. And he was sobbing as soon as he looked at me. I'll take you to the town and make sure you get proper treatment. No. Take me to Leader Kong. Fucker. I didn't even know what to answer at this point, but Wusung kept talking and mumbling. Hanyang. We have to go to Hanyang. We can save Mr. Accountant if we go to Hanyang and... What? I heard there's this drum called Sinmungo in Hanyang, so we can go and beat that drum, which is a drum installed by the government. If you are the victim of something unfair, you would have to go to that drum and beat it while the king is passing by. The king had to answer personally to the drummer's pleading. We can ask them to reinvestigate the case since Mr. Accountant is innocent. I'll testify there. Your older brother, Mr. Sun Bok, and Mrs. Lee and Mr. Accountant will all be able to go home safely. What? What are you talking about? My father died 5 years ago. What? What are you talking about? When I saw Wusung's face that looks like he really doesn't know what I'm talking about, I felt a sharp pain in my waist again. No, my father has been dead for 5 years now. We saw the beheaded heads together. What are you talking about? By the way, there are so many butterburs in this mountain. What? Mr. Accountant really likes butterburs. Must be so hard for him to wait in that cold prison. What are you talking about? Stop it. My father died in winter. If my father is alive, then there's no way that butterburs in the mountain now. But Wusung wasn't listening at all. Don't worry about finding the way to Hanyang. I'll protect you with my own life. Yes, I'm going to protect you. I'm never going to leave you no matter what. This time, I won't make any mistake again. Oh, fuck off, no! Wusung. I called his name, but he didn't answer. Then my body started to shake again and my stomach felt warm. Even though I'm not doing anything now, all my body was numb and my clothes kept getting wet. I clenched my teeth, pulled my dopo back, and looked at my wound for the first time. When I saw my wound, I knew that I could die if I moved and changed my posture even a little bit. It stings, so I closed my eyes and slowly exhaled. I was getting cold in early summer. Ridiculously enough, I wasn't mad like I was before. I even felt a little relieved. Maybe I was a bit scared that everything was going too well. A perfect woman who is everything said she liked me without telling me a reason. Suddenly, I felt like I didn't have to do anything. As soon as I let it go, everything went too well, as if the universe was waiting for me to do that. It was all too weird. But I was so used to running away, getting hurt, and feeling anxious that I might die tomorrow, that I even felt things that just went as it was supposed to be. Oriental melon stalls, carriages drawn by 4 black horses that make the tinkling of bells, water wheels that provide water to the field, pumps that put out the fire, windows with patterns and embroidered doors, big bridges that look just like a rainbow. You can walk around looking at all those things all day. Can we not have that now? Are we just destined to never be happy together? Only 5 years ago, I was a tacky country girl with very little knowledge who couldn't even imagine what Hanyang might look like. So I couldn't imagine what Beijing would be like. I could just think of Leader Kong and her voice clearly as if she was right next to me. She must have stood out there so much with her dazzling appearance. I would have been so happy just to walk around with her. I quickly bit my lips. Now, I don't want to go anywhere, because I know I can't go anyway. I just want to see her face one more time. I don't want to not be able to see her ever again. Every time I swallowed down my tears, my body shook, and my stomach and my waist hurt so much. Wusung, you should go down, and you shouldn't be near me. And Wusung looked up. My lady, please forgive me. It's messed up. I messed up so bad. You did a lot more than mess up, Wusung. He wasn't begging for mercy for what he has done now. Wusung crawled towards me, not even knowing what he's begging for. I was clenching my teeth and then opened my mouth for a little while. Oh, fuck. I want to forgive him, but I also just kind of want to see what happens if I can't. I can't forgive you. You ruined my life. After I said that, I felt acute pain in my stomach, so I had to bend down. My lady, I don't want you to risk your life or whatever for me, and I don't want to hear you say whatever you want to say after making the whole situation worse like this. I hate everything. You can't save me. How could you even save me in the first place? From where? You? Wusung couldn't answer with a flustered face and just kept wiggling his fingers. I'm not going to move an inch if you stay here. I don't want you to ever show up in front of me ever again. Go down the mountain alone. I don't want to be in the same place for one more second. This is honestly probably healthier for both of us at this point. But, my lady, you're hurt. You're injured. Wusung couldn't even get mad no matter what I say. He was anxious and didn't know what to do, just like when he was still awkward with me 5 years ago. He's not doing this on purpose. He's really scared and uncomfortable with me, and that made me feel even more miserable. If he kept staying here and ended up seeing me dying, he would be foolish enough to think that he made me die before even saving Mr. Accountant. He was even getting the time all wrong. What could be more stupid than this? I told you to go, but you're still here. Do I have to get up and go down the mountain then? Are you my master? I knew it. You only call me my lady, but you thought of me like some stone on the ground in your head. You looked down on my father and even more on me. Is that your sincerity? Doing whatever you want to? And before I even finished my last sentence, Wusung wiped the tears off his face with his fist and forced himself to get up and go down the mountain. It looked so perilous the way he walked down that I felt like he was going to fall down, but he kept looking back at me over and over while going down. I couldn't even breathe and froze on the spot just in case he might come back. I might have just set myself up to die up here, but I think I needed to see that for myself because what we have right now is super unhealthy. Oh, we're back to Yuri? So did I make the right choice? I don't know. There are about 40 servants gathered in the yard. 40 songbong servants that she's been taking, feeding, and taking care of all lined up neatly in the yard. She's going to let the half of them on the street in normal clothes so that she could deliver her messages and send the other half on the search. Then she realized soon that nothing will be easy. Can she send about 40 big guys out, pushing through all those people outside the wall? No one would like it that they send their leader inside and see the woman who is supposed to negotiate with their leaders just come out of the house. And it's going to be even worse if they followed her back to wherever she goes. Maybe it's better to talk it out and send them all home, even if it would take some time. But she wasn't sure if she had enough time to spare on something like that. Time kept passing while she couldn't make a decision and kept looking for a solution. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm dying on a hill somewhere, so maybe she needs to go out now. Just go out right away. Couldn't waste any more minutes. No time to lose. She didn't have time to think about how to send 30 big guys out of this place. She had to be adamant as she does when negotiating the price. Only 10 of you at the front will follow me. We're not using the gate. We're jumping over the wall. After saying this nonsense, Yuri couldn't move her feet. Am I going to jump off the wall? Me? But after hesitating a couple of times, her body leaned forward before she even moved her feet, and she ended up running faster than anyone. Please come find me. The wall behind the west building was quite low, but there was no road but the forest and bushes outside that wall, so it was hard for people to come inside through that wall. She might be able to get out through the walls secretly. She felt like she was at a loss thinking of wandering around with only 10 people, but anything would be better than being stuck in Songdon. And when she barely jumped off the wall with the help of her servants, Yuri froze right away. Did you find me? Someone was there. Oh, not me. A middle-aged old man who was sitting on the other side, well, maybe just a middle-aged man, slowly got up and frowned. He was looking at her for quite a while as if he didn't have good vision. Yuri held her breath while her servants jumped off the wall in the back. Soon the guy dropped his jaw. Leader Kong. Gosh, that guy was a Han merchant as well. Everyone would come running as soon as he screamed. That guy really started screaming before she could even stop him. But he couldn't even finish one word. Yuri was panting with a sword on her hand. Oh, shit. Well, you do what you have to do. Just come find me. She closed her eyes, wiping off the blood that was splattered on her face. Her fingers were shaking wildly. Leader Kong, can I ask you something? She recalled the voice of her young lover who was so devastated just by what happened to Clark Park. Yuri closed her eyes, stepping forwards as if she was about to collapse. Once he gets on the ship, he'll make his own choice. Either to get his and his family's name erased from Songbong and live like that, or to throw himself in the water and keep the honor. That translator pocketed too much stuff, and he's threatening us with too many things. There's no choice but to let him rest in peace. She's made any kind of decision for Songdon, but unless it was for Songdon, she hasn't made any decision or killed anyone herself. The choice was always someone else's. The guy she just cut was lying on the ground gasping for breath. Be merciless. That place you'll take doesn't allow any mercy or empathy. Father, what should I do to be merciless? I have no idea now. One servant left behind and took care of the body, and Yuri started to push her way through the forest, staggering. The rest 9 of you, follow me. We're searching for a person. Okay, I think I got this right, because I'm in the forest, I believe, and now she is, so maybe she'll find me? The night was awfully long and awfully short at the same time. She's wasted too much time, and time goes by too fast when she was wasting it wandering. She saw Hisu hiding behind the rocks several times. She saw him squatting down under the shade, crouching behind the tree. But now, all the shadow under every rock and tree tore her heart apart. The Supreme Court's search party would have gone towards Western Village or Southern Village, but Wusung and Hisu must have run away towards Northern Village, because that would have been the only way that lowly plebeian Wusung knows well. It's a hard path, but you can go out of Hanyang if you go over a mountain behind Northern Village. Every time the wind blew, all the trees in the woods were rustling. Yurun was standing in the wind, lowering her head down. The sweat on her forehead was cooled down, and her throat felt itchy. Save me when the soldiers were trying to kill me just like this. I have to save her too. I made a promise that I would protect her. She must have believed me. I still do. Come find me. And at some point, the wind stopped completely. As the sweat fell down to the ground, she heard some noise at the same time. It's not the sound that a drop of sweat can make by hitting the leaf. She caught eyes with the servant near her as well. There was a dent on the ground, and there were some broken twigs that led to a long line. She chased the line in the dark with her eyes first, and then her feet started to move as well. My lady. Her eyes stopped at the gap between two quite high bushes. Yurun hurriedly climbed up the dirt mountain where there wasn't even a road. My lady? Leader Kong. My lady. When she hacked away the bush with a big thorn that was the size of a hand, there was Hisu leaning against a tree. Oh, fuck, come here, please come get me. She was frowning with a deathly pale face. Yurun felt relieved and enervated at the same time, so she sank down on the spot. Thank God, what a relief. Yurun was holding tears, pressing her chest, and then hurriedly grabbed Hisu's hand that was on her stomach. And her tears dried up a second with a shock. As soon as she put her hand away, her stomach made a boiling sound and made a puddle of blood on her clothes. She's never heard that a human body can make this sound. Hold on a second. She quickly hugged her neck and sat her up. In that short moment, she could feel that her skin was too cold. Her skin has never been this cold. It was always so warm. What is it? How? I'm dying. When she came to her senses, her lukewarm blood poured out at one of two Yurun's legs. What? Wait, no. Am I gonna die? Am I gonna die here? Yes? No? No, we made it to Songdan, but am I still alive? She didn't remember how she managed to carry Hisu to Songdan. Yurun was leaning her head against the bed, sitting on the floor, covered all over with wounds. She called the doctor, but what is taking him so long? How did you get hurt like this? I don't know. Hisu's voice was so small that even an ant could speak louder than her, and she started to bleed again all over her wrist. Yurun held back her tears and washed the towel again and pressed it carefully on Hisu's waist. There was no point in washing and wringing a towel at this point now. Water inside the bucket became indistinguishable with blood already, and Yurun's clothes were colored red with blood. Her fingers shaking in front of her, and under her nails were dyed dark red as well. And whenever Hisu coughed, the blood poured out again like ditch water. She was bleeding too much. Is the doctor still not here yet? She shouted, but no one answered. Yurun was looking at the blood flowing down her fingers and closed her eyes again. Her cheeks were stiff from crying too much, and she couldn't even feel that her tears were flowing down again from her cheek. She knew she couldn't stop the blood like that, but Yurun quickly washed the towel again. If she could cut herself and give her blood to Hisu, she would have cut herself already without hesitation. If one person is enough, she was willing to buy 10 or 100 people to cut, but why? And the sound of Hisu's breathing got smaller and smaller. Leader Kong. Leader Kong. What is it? I was unhappy. I've been hanging on to revenge for too long, so I was in pain. What is she talking about? I didn't know that was wrong. Don't. Stop talking. You're going to bleed more if you talk. Yurun got surprised and got up, which made her knock off the bowl and spill the water. Yurun got surprised as if she got bit by a snake and dropped the towel. It's going to get really serious. Where is the doctor? Where? Hisu kept saying something on the back, but I couldn't understand what she was saying anymore. Her voice was too small and too high, so she couldn't understand at all, but she kept talking. Stop. Please stop. I wish you to be happy. You're going to get better once you get the treatment, so just stay still for now. The doctor's on his way. I will save you no matter what. Her face has been covered with blood for quite a while. Yurun kept dropping that light towel, so she had to pick it up over and over again. Then she heard something dropped in the unpleasant silence. Something was rolling on the wooden floor. When she bent over, she could see something dark red. It was a stone. Her heart sank down. The stone she gave Hisu earlier this afternoon somehow rolled down to her feet. She didn't realize what happened even when she was picking it up. The stone, which was cold when she gave it to Hisu, was already soaked with blood and warm. Yurun slowly turned around, and when she saw a loose hand of a dead body, she collapsed right away. Her body was shaking wildly. She dropped her jaw in pain so big that she couldn't even scream. A huge lump of grudge went up along the spine with the pain as if it was destroying everything inside her body from under her stomach. But she couldn't make any sound from her throat. The sun was starting to rise, dimming up the sky. All the light in the room was already turned off a while ago. She could feel the sky getting brighter on the side of her lowered head. The sound of morning bells and a rooster from the distance. She looked at her hands closely for the first time under the vague morning sunlight. Dried up blood was starting to crumble from the edge of her hands. Inside the room was awfully humid and reeked with blood so much that it was hard to breathe inside. Then someone knocked on the door. "Leader Kong, the doctor's here!" The door opened and a doctor with a gray beard came in with a bundle of medicine. As soon as he got in, he dusted off his clothes and made an excuse half-jokingly. I got caught by the night guards on the way. Almost got in trouble for walking right past the curfew time. They always do that when it's about the matter of life and death. Actually, I should have bribed them a little, but they asked for more money than usual last night." And the doctor got flustered when he took a few steps in and frowned. He was surprised by the heavy smell of blood in Yurun's look. Yurun wasn't saying anything. She just looked at the face of the doctor and listened to him. She didn't scold him even for a bit. She didn't get mad and she didn't complain. "Where's the patient?" She just quietly lifted the viewing stone on the drawer. Ugh. The stone that was worth more than the 50 years of salary for over 100 night guards was shattered right away when it hit the head of the old doctor. The water and sand in the prop under the viewing stone splattered all over the room, and the doctor knocked down before he could scream. Yurun looked at her palm, cut by the stone, and lost her grip. The broke prop and the split viewing stone fell down to the ground with a loud thud. "You bastard! Stop there! Wait, what? What is happening?" Fist came at my chin as soon as I grabbed him by the throat, so I fell down on my back again. I bit my lips hard since the scar that I got from when I pulled out the arrows on my back burst out again. And my knees completely broke now, so I couldn't get up anymore. I rubbed my eyes over and over, losing my mind. Wait, what is happening? I could see him everywhere on the street. There he is again. There he goes. Scar. I can see that scar on his wrist. Letter. Give me back my letter. There, he's taking my letter. He's taking the letter that Mr. Accountant asked me to deliver. No. I'm going to follow him and kill him. I made a promise with my lady to get revenge on him, and we've been chasing him for 5 years in Hanyang. Now he finally showed up right here in front of me, but where is my lady? She has to see this now. She has to see that he's here right now. I have to go back to this tavern and let her know. No, then I might lose him. I have to go and catch him now. I started crawling on the ground, dragging my legs. When I grabbed the clothes, that freaking friend of Mr. Accountant freaked out and kicked my face. What the? Who are you to grab my clothes? No, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to kill you today. Gosh, just my luck to bump into this kind of creep. The sun rose up again and there was no one on the empty road anymore. I crouched on the ground, pounding my chest. The last time I saw my lady came across my mind, so I couldn't get up. Wusung, you should go down the mountain. You shouldn't be near me. My lady is not at the tavern. The mountain. She's in the mountain. I made her like that all because I made a big mistake. Now if I can't at least kill him. Then some big lump rolled down to me with a thud. My eyes got bigger as soon as I realized what it was. The thing that was tossed in my hand was a bleeding human head. I automatically started throwing up as if it reminded me of Mr. Accountant's head hanging on the pole. Ugh! Is this what you were looking for? When I looked up, Songbang leader was standing alone and looking down at me. She was still beautiful as always, but she had blood on her hands and her chin like a butcher. Then I trembled again and looked at the beheaded head again. The head was even opening its eyes, so it was hard not to recognize him. It's been a few years, but I could clearly see. It was him. Then what was all that I just saw? But this head was clearly the head of my enemy. The one my lady and I had been trying to find for 5 years but couldn't even find the trace. How did you... I can see that I killed the right one by the look on your face. The fierce voice of Leader Kong pierced my ears. Leader Kong was talking down to me surprisingly naturally. Did you come all the way here to show me this? No. I came here to find what I'm looking for. Then I got scared again. Leader Kong came here to find my lady. She came to ask me where my lady is. No, she didn't. I don't know what I would say if I tell her that I left her in the woods. I instinctively knew that she got to know too many things now, but I couldn't even open my mouth. Are you looking for my lady? Before I even finished the sentence, Leader Kong scoffed a little and gave a sigh. I was surprised and looked up. When I caught her eyes, Leader Kong raised one side of her mouth. No. You. I found you. That was the last word I could ever hear. Oh! The sword went down on my chest several times. Oh! Fuck! Yurun! Yurun walked towards the porch, dragging a bag on the ground. A trace of blood from the bag was drawing a zigzag line on dried-up sand. It was the day after soldiers flipped the entire Hanyang upside down, so the port was still off limits. There was no boatmen or merchants there. She stopped her feet when she went right up to the water. 5 years ago, she met a girl here. Yurun had been taking care of this young lover like the candlelight in a morning breeze. She shook off and emptied the bag, staggering. 6 entangled human heads poured out on the ground. I brought justice to anyone even slightly related to your unfair death. Well, I will. Heads covered in blood had their hair tangled up and turned pale, so it was hard to distinguish who's who. Yurun pulled out each head with the tip of her sword. The sword made a crunching sound, scratching the ground. 1. The first head she faced again was Butler Zheng, who she had known since she was in Songdu. Her heart was torn apart until the moment she killed him, but now she didn't feel anything. He had to pay for what he did, and he did. His sin was to stop her from protecting Hisu every time and to interrupt her. His wrinkly head with a friendly face like a family rolled to the side. 2. Then the head of a soldier who was still young. He was on the front line of the search party and he got caught by Yurun's servants while bragging about how he caused critical damage to a woman dressed up like a guy. 3. 4. The enemy of Hisu that Yurun knew all along but couldn't do anything about because of Butler Zheng's dissuasion. And his little child. 5. The doctor who came a day later to save that little money. 6. Hisu's stupid lowly plebeian Nobi who Yurun beheaded just now. Yurun was looking at Wusung's head for a while. Wusung's dead face looked more relaxed than when he was alive for some reason. It looked like he seemed relieved that he died in other people's hands. But it rolled over to the side by the wind soon. Yurun threw the sword to the water and closed her eyes. One more step and then she could throw herself in the water. But she wouldn't have her place in hell. This place she has lived in hell and her afterlife would be something else. And 7. And lastly, the worst sinner of all. I couldn't keep the promise I made with my lady. Please, don't forgive me. And the sound of the soldiers running from distance was getting closer. I know gods, I fired them. Okay? Is there even anything left after that? Yurun true ending candle in the wind? That's the true ending? I guess it is. But if that's the true ending, then there has to be a good ending, right? Hold on, I want to try some things. Okay, I just spent a few minutes trying to find like a good ending and just kind of like fast forwarding through stuff and there's no good ending for us. Not really. From what I've found so far and what I've managed to look through, we don't have a good ending. Which, I mean, is really fucking sad and I feel like I should be crying, but I just feel so numb. Like, we have this route, which was beautiful and romantic and full of like the most romance out of all of the routes that I've seen so far. Like, we had all our tender touches, our flirtatious banter, all of that throughout instead of like pushing it towards the very end like the other two route it did. And I suppose that ending makes sense, but like, it's an option, sure. But I feel like we should have gotten another option where we escaped and ran away happy together because like, otherwise it's just following the same lesbian film trope where we either die, or only one of us dies, we break up, or one of us just like decides that we can't be together. Like, that's not breaking the stereotype at all, that's enforcing it. And that just, it makes me so sad that the one route where we were like so open and so happy together is the route that ends in nothing but tragedy, you know? And especially because they marked it as, that's the true ending? That's the truth of that ending? Really? There's no universe where we can be happy together. I mean, other than a joke ending, but again, that's a joke. I really loved this route until they did that. I mean, fine, that would have been a cool, like, okay, rip my heart out, angst, alternate ending. Okay, cool, great, but not as the true ending. Like, what kind of message is that sending? That you can't be happy together no matter what? Like, honestly, I feel more cheated than I did with Juhi's ending. Like, I feel kind of robbed, honestly. Cause like, Leader Kong, out of all people, I would have expected that we could have had like a future together and a life, and they just rip it away from you like that. Huh. I'm actually really, really disappointed. Well, that was Yurin's route. That just made me really sad. Next video, I guess we're gonna start Iljim's route. Hooray. I need to go lie down for a bit, but thank you so much whoever happens to be watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, it really does help me out, and until next time, bye! Moonlight, starlight, shadows fall. Lying here with you is easiest of all. As the birds fly over, I remember early October, when what we had was so new, when all that mattered was me and you. Foolish, foolish, foolish little thing, we ever after can't be for me. I didn't care about the blood, your love was enough to close my eyes to what I couldn't believe. All I ever wanted was right here beside me. No words, just your lips in the dark, and a promise that I'd have your heart. Foolish, foolish, foolish little thing, happily ever after can't be for me. Foolish, foolish, foolish little thing.